Swiss buttercream is a foundational pastry formula and technique. Room temperature butter that has been paddled without incorporating any air to the point where it is so soft it's like mayonnaise. I very gently and carefully use a torch to keep the bowl warm, not to melt the butter in any way. I set up a bain-marie to cook the egg whites gently. The top bowl cannot rest in the simmering water. The simmering water cannot boil. Both the bowl and the egg whites themselves need to keep it moving. That's why they are whisked during slow cooking and why I move the bowl around so that the hottest point is where the bowl on top touches and meets with the bowl on the bottom. So I need to keep the eggs moving so they don't coagulate and cause scrambled egg whites. The indirect heat from the bain-marie is dissolving the sucrose particles into the water that lives inside the egg whites. It is simultaneously warming up the proteins in the egg whites, just like when you exercise. The proteins are like our muscles, and they start out cold and tight. But as warmth is applied, they relax and lengthen. Meanwhile, there is alchemy, with the sugar turning into something like a bubble that can hold air. The air will be added in the mixer bowl after this mixture reaches 60 degrees Celsius, which is 2 degrees short of the egg whites being coagulated or cooked. You can see the grains dissolving and the solution becoming thinner. All of this sweet alchemy is creating the perfect opportunity to build even-sized air cells, which create a really stable, shiny meringue with no gritty texture from undissolved sucrose. I expect a very good outcome for this formula. I scaled it properly. I read through the method. I use good technique. I work clean, and all of my tools are appropriate and accurate. A good digital thermometer is vital to keeping track of what is going on in the bowl. Once my thermometer hits 60 degrees Celsius, I wait a moment because there is a world between 60 and 61. And if you don't give it a chance, a moment to settle, you may not really be at temp. I rest the mixer bowl on the warm pan to take off just a little bit of the chill before adding the egg white and sucrose mixture, because at this critical point, temperature is vital and very fast temperature changes are counterindicated. The butter, which firms up at room temperature in a cool kitchen, needs to be checked and rewarmed. You should be able to look at a meringue formula and know what the ratio means. 1 part egg white to 2 part sucrose is the foundation of this meringue. The ratio of finished meringue to butter is approximately 1:3. This is how the ratio would be translated to a formula. 100 grams of egg white, 200 grams of sucrose, and between 300 and 400 grams of butter. That is what I call a back pocket recipe. And if you can remember this, you will be able to make a Swiss buttercream without any recipe or any help. What I've learned from making cakes in the United States is that children do not like European buttercreams, and that while American adults will say they do, they will never pick them over a American buttercream. Swiss buttercream tastes a lot like butter that's been sweetened, so it doesn't pair well with American high-ratio cakes, which are very sweet and soft. It's meant to be balanced through texture, flavor, color, and taste. For this reason, I would use an unsweetened chocolate, lemon oil, curd, or zest instead of extract. The coffee flavor in Treblis is concentrated. Vanilla bean paste lends beautiful flecks in flavor, and a good dose of salt will balance out the sweetness. The concentrated flavor of artisan bitters blends hold up well against the fatty butter. The natural butter hue needs to be accounted for when coloring the frosting further. Swiss buttercream cakes need to be stored in the cooler, but they must be served and eaten at room temperature. Adding a pastry element to your repertoire is as easy as adding Swiss meringue to butter.